The day the moon opened. The information I have will change everything. People deserve to know what's in store for them, and the danger everyone on this planet is facing. For the past few years, I've been working with a top secret government agency, whose name I cannot reveal for obvious reasons. My mission was to collect information about the moon, and learn anything useful to report back to my employers. My research has led me to the darkest finding in human history. What I have discovered will forever change how we look at our planet in this galaxy that we call home. The moon is artificial and not a natural object as we have been led to believe. Now, that may sound crazy, so let me shed more light on my findings. Our moon is a mechanical object, not a natural one. My research has brought me to the conclusion that it is hollow and may have a purpose beyond what we have all been taught to believe. Our moon is unique in its properties in that it does not behave the same way as other moons in our solar system do. During its orbit around Earth, the same side faces us, like a satellite. It never rotates, so the one side we see, we always see. In addition, its shape is a perfect sphere. Now that may seem normal, but let us consider moons on other planets. Phobos and Deimos of Mars both have highly irregular shapes. They're not spheres at all, and almost appear beat up from the damage they've taken over the millions of years in their existence. Despite being nearly the same age, our moon is still almost a perfect sphere. Too perfect. The shape of our moon leads to another finding that is often overlooked by most people, but one of particular importance when pointed out. During a lunar eclipse, our moon lines up directly with the sun, covering it flawlessly. This is something we never pay attention to, but this is a scientific anomaly that should never, ever happen. The chances of the moon naturally aligning with the sun so perfectly is 0.00000001. Basically, it's never supposed to happen naturally. Yet we've just been conditioned to believe this is how it's supposed to be, for lack of a comparative standard. Furthermore, there's strong evidence to suggest that our moon is hollow and may not be the solid object that we've all come to believe. In the 1960s, there was an experiment to study moonquakes, and the results were astounding. When struck by Apollo 12 on its surface to study the effects, the moon rang like a bell for hours. This experiment concluded that the moon must be hollow. And if this is the case, there's something further to investigate here. In expanding my research, I looked to history for the answers that science has left unsolved in our time. Again, I was blown away by my discoveries. Our moon was not always here in the orbit of our planet. And I do not mean like a million years ago, I mean only a couple thousand. There are ancient civilizations have a record of a time before there was a moon in the sky. This means that it was placed here at some point during human history. One of the civilizations that has a very good account of this is the Zulu tribe of Africa. They have a legend that states before the presence of the moon, the earth was covered with a rainy canopy and had a tropical climate. The sun did not burn because it could only be viewed through this rainy ceiling that covered the earth. One day, two brothers of alien origin, Wawayne and Mpanku, stole the moon from the Great Fire Dragon, emptied out the yolk like it was an egg, and rolled it across the sky. This action introduced it into our atmosphere, causing a cataclysmic event resulting in the Great Flood, which we find in the biblical text as well as in other ancient accounts. The story was generally regarded as a myth or fiction until it started aligning with today's scientific research. And now more than ever, all evidence points to this legend having some validity. If this story is true, it raises the question, what is the moon? And who's in control of it now, if it is an artificial satellite to surveil us on this planet? Is it still Wolwayne and Mpanku? Or someone else?
What are their alien intentions? Are they protecting us? Or possibly doing something much worse? Devastatingly, the news does not get any better for us here on this planet. In my most recent research, using my skill as a top agent, I found that we're in deeper danger than any of us could have imagined. Our moon has been gathering energy and charging since its arrival. As most of us know, our universe runs on energy, vibrations, and frequencies that dictate the outer workings of higher planes of physics and multiple dimensions. We live in only one of these, but our non-physical astral selves could travel past this material plane if we wished. Humans radiate energy when we express feelings and moods. Each feeling releases a different aura, which consequently can be studied and identified. Hate and anger are the most powerful energies that we can possibly emit. As individual humans, the effect is small, but if magnified by a whole population, the energy can be vast and powerful. This emotion in a mass of people would create a wave of energy that could be harnessed in a very productive or sinister way. What would cause this mass energy surge? A presidential speech, a strong act of violence in the media, or simply the tension built up over all the years of civilized people would give off a profound stream of energy flowing out of the atmosphere? This would be something of interest to a huge celestial body that orbits our planet. And it is. My research has found that the moon feeds off this energy and has been charging from it for thousands of years, preying on the hatred, frustration, and anger of every war, genocide, and murder throughout history to power its own sustainability and existence above us. While we sit here on Earth, oblivious and ignorant of our one true enemy. This charging has been happening for thousands of generations and seems to be almost complete. Time is running out for us here on this planet, and a cataclysmic event is on the cards for us yet again, this time with more on the line. Our position as humans and the prime species of this planet has expired, and we have failed. We have not treated the Earth with honor and respect, so now we will pay for it. We wage wars, deforest, melt the ice, destroy plants, kill reef beds, poison our oceans, and the rest of the universe is sick of us here. The Galactic Federation, made up of a council of alien representatives from around the galaxy, have decided that someone else should have a turn at Earth, and we are out. Humans will be eradicated, and everything we have done, accomplished, made, and provided will be erased, like chalk off a blackboard. The moon will be the weapon to make this happen, like it did so many thousands of years ago, when it forced us to begin civilization anew. But this time, it will be for another civilization, not of our planet of origin. This is a responsibility that I must digest and simply carry to my employers, which is the fall of humanity on this planet. I've been burdened to only research and report, while a whole species is wiped clean. Yet I find myself opposed to the action. I've grown to love humans. Despite all your flaws, there is great beauty among you. You have passions beyond the measure of words, and have accomplished amazing feats in such little time. Your inventors, innovators, artists, musicians, and scientists are amongst the best in the universe, and it would be a shame to see all that go to waste and be simply forgotten in the timeline of this universe. I am empathetic to your species. I've witnessed firsthand how fiercely you love and how resilient some of you can be, even in the face of impossible odds. At first, I thought hope was lost, but you are all finally starting to realize that your leaders are evil, and a mass awakening is happening. This is what the rest of the universe was waiting to see from humans, and you're finally reaching the next level of consciousness and tapping into your potential as a civilization ready to explore beyond the stars. You have rejected the prison built for you and overcome everything in the pursuit of love, regardless of race, gender, and appearance. You have grown, but unfortunately, not fast enough. The time is near, and any day now the moon will carry out its goal of complete annihilation. I was told not to intervene, but there is something in me that cannot let humanity suffer this cruel, unknowing fate. Even as an extraterrestrial myself, I deeply oppose this. This may seem shocking, But I am not a native of this planet myself. The human I've grown into is only an avatar for the consciousness of my true existence, a reptilian species from another plane. My species does not exist in the physical, but rather a dimension that lies in between this material realm and the ethereal realm in this constellation. We cannot exist beyond our own world if we do not have an avatar to bring us into the world of the five senses. My species is an envious race. They hate humans because you have the potential to create and live in ways that they simply can't experience. They envy the things humans take for granted, like a simple touch, a kiss, a hug, and the taste of a delicious drink. They want to experience life as you, and eventually replace you. The human body I occupy now is the reanimated shell of a deceased human, given to me for my mission. But I do not take his living conscious mind to exist in this form, nor would I have agreed to that. My kin, however, do not share my compassion for humankind. Their goal is to populate this planet by cycling in their consciousness to human life at birth. This means, instead of an actual human soul being raised in a human body, that body would be occupied by a member of my race until it dies. Then, the reptilian would return to its home, swelled with tales of its journey as the species that once ruled the earth. This is the fate of every person on this planet, and it's a cruel one that must be denied. As I took a break from my thoughts, I got up from my chair and walked over to the window. Another full moon was shining in the sky. The sight which I once thought was so beautiful now saddened me, knowing the deception and the ignorance these people have lived in for so long. Taking a deep breath, something on my television suddenly caught my attention. Tonight was a live press conference downtown on the governor's newest project. Millions would be tuned in to hear the news happening at this part of the country. At that moment, a thought struck me. I have to get on TV and share this information so people know, I said to myself. No, that's not going to work. They won't even believe me, and those that do won't accept the truth in time. What could I do? Think. As the words left my mouth, another idea crept into my head. The only way a stunt like that would work is if I got on TV as myself, a member of the invading alien species. Doing this could create a huge shift in the consciousness of humans and possibly halt their negative flow up to the moon. What type of energy would it create in its place? I'm not sure, but it has to be better than hate and anger. This may be humanity's last chance. I will reveal myself live on TV, and in the process disrupt the world flow of energy so much it will create a mass emotion that could just pause, or possibly stop completely, the charging of the moon. With this revelation, I buttoned my shirt and took one last glimpse in the mirror. Reptilian facial features flashed as the human side fought to keep control by projecting the more acceptable face. And just like that, I was out the door. Arriving at the press conference, I could tell this was a grand media circus, perfect for getting a message out using the channels they controlled. The governor was about to take the podium, so there was still time. If I could make my way through the crowd and get close to the podium before he finished, there would be a shot at this. As I began to push my way through the crowd, I felt a vice-like grip on my shoulder and another on my left arm. The pain stopped me in my tracks and two men in black suits emerged from the blur of the crowd, both grabbing me and stopping my progress. They both appeared human, but I know instinctively they were not. "We know what you're doing," the one to my left said in a deep, cold voice. "You'll put everything at risk," followed the other one, in a near-identical voice. "This is wrong," I snapped back. "I'm not going to let these people fade from history just for us." Almost instantaneously, they both tightened their grips on me, their human faces revealing waves of reptilian features as they lost control in their rage. The crowd around us remained oblivious to the scene we created, with their eyes too focused on the current speaker. "We will stop you. It can't be permitted." "You'll have to kill me," I stated aggressively, pulling myself away from them both. My control over my human facade was fading with extreme tension, and my true self continued to fight its way through the human body. I freed myself from my fellow kin and pressed on through the crowd. My true face was now showing all its glory as the governor took the stand. As I approached the front podium, there was a scream from a woman next to me. Our gazes met as she reacted to my true form, no longer hidden. The governor and the rest of the crowd followed suit, freezing me where I stood in the uproar. Then, something happened. There was a thunderous boom that filled the night sky louder than any sound I had ever heard. Everyone around, including myself, clenched our ears in pain as we tried to shake off the disorientation. It was the moon. The loud boom added to the panic as bodies rushed in different directions with no logic or reason. Then a new sound hit our ears, a long blaring horn, as if God himself was beckoning for all the planet's attention. Once people adjusted, everyone's attention fixated on the full moon. The unusual activity drew the eyes of the crowd all around me, and possibly everyone on the planet. This continued for a few more minutes until something even more alarming happened. A black vertical line became visible on the moon. The horn was still blaring as the line grew in width. The blackness was spreading along the realization that the line was expanding into a gaping hole. The moon was opening. Cries and screams echoed through the streets as the realization of imminent doom spread like a pandemic. Then dread filled my core, with the realization that I had nowhere to go. Standing with these people against my whole planet embarrassed my world, and probably struck a mortal wound in the pride of an entire species. But then it hit me. I don't care. It was my honor to have lived among the humans, and now to share their fate, and it was all worth it. At that moment, a giant orb of blue light shone from the center of the black opening, dancing until more light joined it. There wasn't a whisper of sound, as everyone stood, transfixed by the moonlight. A beam bathed all of us, as the most beautiful shades of blue engulfed everything. The light was burning and blinding, with a power more ancient than anything I could imagine. I raised my head with pride, fully accepting my fate as the burning gradually increased. I took one last look at my hand, as it incinerated into dust, traveling up my arm. I smiled, my heart filling with gratitude for one last time, appreciating that my final decision was a good and moral one.